our students to really be motivated and get them up and get them going so that they can learn, or we can really be a devastating blow. We can be very, very destructive. Okay, if we're negative, they can get real negative, you know. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, to be able to do that. Now, there is a poem, okay, that I like, and it's, I think it's part of your PowerPoint, okay, in here. But this is by AM CDT. And I really like this poem. I have it posted in my classroom. I have come to the frightening conclusion that I am the decisive element in the classroom. I am the decisive element, okay, in the classroom. It is my personal approach that creates the class. See, atmosphere, climate, okay? Is your class inviting, okay? It is my daily mood that makes the weather in my classroom. My daily mood. And I'll tell my students, you know what, Ms. Harris is not having a good day today, so I need you guys to help me, okay? I need you to listen very carefully. I need you to follow directions, okay? And then we can get through this. Now, I teach high school, so I'm only with my students for about 55 minutes. I said, I know we can get through 55 minutes, okay, together, and then you guys are going to go to the next class. Now, if I was teaching in elementary school, I'd have to be with them all day. And then I would have to regroup, okay, and I'd have to change, okay, and be with them. But for 55 minutes, I tell my high school students, we can get through this, all right? But I let them know. As a teacher, I possess tremendous power to make a person's life miserable or joyous. I have that power. I can make your life miserable in this classroom, or we can be real happy, okay? And we can all get along, okay, in this classroom. And I can be a tool of torture or an instrument of inspiration. And I can humiliate or humor, I can hurt, or I can heal. I have that power, okay, in the classroom. In all situations, it is my response that decides whether a crisis will be escalated or de-escalated, and a person who humanized or dehumanized. And this is adopted by Dr. AM CDT, and it's between teacher and child. So my expectation, okay, for my students, okay, when they come into the classroom is that everyone can learn. Everyone can do it. That's my expectation. And I'm going to try to do everything in my power to try to get you to understand the topics, okay, that we have to cover. Now, I teach high school geometry, and geometry is not a favorite subject, okay? Not a favorite subject, okay, at all. Geometry is a different animal than algebra, and you'll get a lot of students that have taken Algebra 1, and they just think they're just going to come to geometry, and they think they're just going to breeze through it. And I'll say, well, welcome to my world, okay? Geometry is like learning another language. So you're going to have to learn all the symbols, you have to learn all the vocabulary, you're going to have to learn all the theorems, the postulates, the definitions. Your head's going to be spinning 360 degrees, okay, before you get out of this class. And it can be very, very overwhelming if they're not organized. So I have to teach my classes, my students, I have to teach them to be organized, take notes, ask questions, make flashcards, do all these different types of things to make them very successful, okay? Now, this is what we call the self-fulfilling prophecy, okay? If I feel that my students can't do it, guess what? They won't do it. They won't do it because I don't have a belief. I don't have a belief that everybody, okay, in the class, okay, is going to be able to do it. So this was the activity, okay, that we did. After you put all the strips, okay, in place, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the steps that Brophy and Good came up with and see if your strips are in the same order that Brophy and Good, okay. So step one, okay, they said that step one is early on, okay, that teachers form differential expectations. Okay, that's first. Step two It says that based on these expectations, teachers behave differently towards various students. Okay? Based on those expectations, they will act differently, okay, towards certain students. And then, step 3, Brophy and Good says that teacher treatment, how you treat that student, tells the students how they're expected to behave and perform. Okay? Because some of them have just been class cut-ups, they've been clowns, okay, all their life, you know, and the teachers have just written them off. And they know that, and so then they come to the next classroom, and they come to your classroom, and they expect to be treated that same way. I mean, I've had some students tell me, Miss Harris, don't you know who we are? We're the dumb kids, you know? And I go, what? I said, no, you are not dumb. There's nothing dumb, okay, about you. I don't care how many F's, okay, you might have, okay, on your report card. That's not really you. That's not who you are. You've given up, okay, on yourself because that's the easy way out. But you guys are smart because you know that when the rubber hits the road, okay, and you know that you have to survive, you guys know how to survive. You know how to do it. So no, I'm not going to let you get off that easy just by saying, I can't do it. You know, we're the dumb kids, you know. You can't expect too much from us. Yes, I do. I have my expectations, and I expect you guys to come up. I don't expect to take my expectations and lower them just because of who you are. No. Here's the expectations. I got to try to bring you up, okay? That's my job, okay, to try to get you up there. So teacher treatment tells the students how they're expected to behave and perform. And then step 4, okay, is over time, teacher behavior will likely affect the student's self-concepts. See, if you keep drilling that, okay, into them, okay, and you keep telling them that, eventually they're going to believe that. And they'll say, you know, you were the only teacher, you know, that really believed in me. Did you really believe that I could do it? I didn't think I could do it. But you really, why? You know, why did you think, you know, that I could do it? Because you're my student. You're in my class. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. It just may take you a little bit longer, okay, to be able to do it, but you have the ability to do it. It's just upon me that I have to create that drive, in you so that you can be successful. But you'll have a lot of parents, you know, that will put their child down. Because parents will say, oh, you know, I was never any good with math. I wasn't good with this when I was in high school. And you know his father wasn't good with math. And so he's not going to be any good with math because I wasn't any good with math. His dad wasn't any good with math. So he won't be able to do it. Won't be any good with math. And I say to them, you know, it's not genetic. It's not genetic, you know. It just takes hard work. It takes making connections, okay, with the students. May take him a little bit longer, okay, but he's able to get there. It's a maturity level thing, okay? Not that it's an inability, okay? It's not a brain issue, it's a maturity issue. And maybe he's just not mature enough, you know, that he can handle geometry, you know, at this time. Maybe they need a one-on-one tutor. Maybe they need to really have someone really sit down, you know, and really work with them one-on-one and explain the concepts. But it isn't necessarily genetics, okay? And a lot of the parents will have those kinds of experts. And, you know, and the child will hear them say that. Oh, you know, my mom said she wasn't any good. You know, my dad said he wasn't any good. So they don't really expect much of me. Yes.
I did that to my daughter. I didn't like math in school, and when she was in, I think she was getting ready to go to Middle Magnet, and I told her, I said, oh my goodness, you need to pay attention to what the teacher says because Mama's not going to be able to help you. She went to Middle Magnet and she had a teacher like you said, and told her that, and she excelled in that. She excelled.
It's that blossoming, you know, it's that having that confidence, you know, in that child. It's that you can do it. It may take you a little bit longer, but you can do it. How hard do you work? You know, because a lot of students just don't want to work hard. They know that they could do it, but it's like, I got to do all of that. I got to do all of that to get an A. you know, in this class? I don't want an A. What do I have to do to get a C? What's passing? Is a D passing? Okay, so what do I have to do to get a D? And that's their expectations, okay, for the class, okay? That's what they want to do. So expectations are everything. They can affect self-concept, they can affect student outcomes, okay, student achievement. So that's really, really important. Now, Brophy and Good says that step 5, okay, these effects are going to reinforce the teacher's expectations so that students will come to conform to these expectations. If they know what my expectations are, I expect you to be in class on time, okay? I expect you to be in your seat when the bell rings, not as the bell is ringing, not after the bell has rung, okay? That's my expectation. I expect you to come in and take out your pencil, take out your homework, have it ready to pass forward so that I can stamp it. That's my expectation. So as I keep reinforcing, okay, those expectations, they conform. They know exactly, okay, what the routine is. So when they come in, I'll say, you guys know what to do. You know exactly, okay, what to do. So I don't have to go back over that. We have a rule in our ER&D classes that says 3 equals 33. And so we teach rules and procedures at the beginning of the year. And we spend at least 3 weeks at the beginning of the year just going over rules and procedures, going over that. And if you do that, okay, for the first 3 weeks of school, the rest of the year is going to go a whole lot smoother, okay? You can't just tell them what the rules and the procedures are. You can't just post them, okay, up on the wall. Those are the rules and the procedures. You have to teach them. Just like I teach a mathematical lesson, I got to teach my rules and procedures. I got to model that. I got to show them what that means, okay? And so once I do that, okay, then they'll go, oh, I know what it looks like. Okay, I know what it looks like. I know what to do. So in terms of raising your hand, you know, they know. Okay, I'm going to show them what that looks like. Raising your hand. Okay, getting up to go sharpen your pencil. Okay, I'm going to know. Okay, show them, you know, what that looks like. So we will be able to do that. The last step that Brophy and Good said, high expectation students achieve at or near potential. Low expectation students do not gain as much as possible. The low expectation students, they won't come up to their level, okay? The level that they really need to be at. They're not there, okay? They're not there. And it's because of their expectation, could be the teacher's expectation, could be the parent, okay, expectation. So expectations are everything. That's why we make it a big part of our Foundations 2 course, okay? It's the very first module, okay, that we take a look at, okay, in this course. So here's what they call the self-fulfilling prophecy effect. A possible event becomes reality because of the belief that it will occur. Self-fulfilling prophecy. So if I believe that my students can achieve, they can do it. Now, I may have to create scaffolds for them, okay? You guys know what I mean by scaffolds? I may have to create break it into small chunks for them. And so if I break it into small enough chunks, then they'll be able to reach the goal that I need them to get to. I can't just give them the test and say, here's the test, you know, go ahead and do it. No, but if I do enough bell ringers, okay, if I do enough checking for understanding, if I do little group activities, if I do enough of that stuff, okay, then by the time they do get to the test, I'll say, okay, now I need you to do this. And they'll look at it and it all looks familiar. It doesn't look so foreign to them, you know, anymore. It looks familiar, and then they'll go ahead, and then they'll be able to complete it, okay? They'll be able to complete the test. And will everyone be 100% on there? No. No, they won't be 100%, okay? Now, I do have a classroom set of student response system in the classroom. So every student has a little clicker that kind of looks like this. And so as I go over a lesson, maybe after a day or so, I want to check their understanding. And I need some feedback right away before they take the test. So I'll put some problems up on the, project them up on the board, and I'll ask them questions, about the lesson. Could be true, false, some are multiple choice. Some I just have them actually input the numerical answer. And I'll put that up there. And the students have to use their clicker, and they got to answer each one. And then the thing I like about the system is that once they finish, I can put that chart up there, and it shows I had 82% of the class that understood that, and they see it. So it's not just me seeing it, but they see it, and they go, oh yeah, I got that. I don't have to print that out, okay? They know immediately if they understand, and they know if the class, understands, okay? They know how to do that. So those types of things are invaluable, okay, when you're teaching, because I tell them, it's not my goal to try to fail anyone. That's not what I'm trying to do. I don't get up in the morning and say, wow, wonder how many students can I fail today in geometry. That's not my goal. My goal is to try to get you guys to pass, to understand the material. That's my expectation. That's my goal. And so if I find that I'm not there yet, I need to know what it is that I need to change so that I can get you there, okay? That's the whole thing. Because a lot of students say, oh, she just wants us to fail. No, that's not what I want. But if you don't do your homework, if you're not asking questions, if you're not coming in for tutoring, that could be your goal, okay? But it's not, certainly not mine. So here's the self-fulfilling prophecy. Once an expectation is developed, a person tends to act as if the belief were true. So if I have a belief that all students in my class can learn geometry, that they can be successful in geometry, I believe that with all my heart. And then I start acting like that. Then as I act like that, then if the belief were true. I believe that that's true, okay, with all my heart. So eventually the teacher actions result from this belief, cause it to be fulfilled. So I'm going to get more and more students that are going to get on page with that. Do you guys find that to be true? I mean, do you believe that? I mean, how do you feel about that self-fulfilling prophecy? If you think that nobody's going to get it, nobody's going to get it, okay? They're just going to give up. They won't even try, okay? They won't even try to do it. So the self-fulfilling prophecy effects can occur only when all elements are present, okay? And all elements are these 6, okay? The 6 that you took a look at on those strips. So you can't have 1 or 2. You can't have 2 or 3. But in order for that self-fulfilling prophecy, okay, to be in effect, you got to have everything, okay? You got to have all pieces of the puzzle, okay? They have to be there. That's got to work. Now, this sustaining expectation effect, okay, how do I keep it going? Okay, I've got my self-fulfilling prophecy, okay, and I know what I'm doing, but how do I keep it going? If the teachers act on the existing expectations, okay, of their students, rather than to changes that have occurred in the student performance. So just because my students don't perform well, okay, on the test, I don't give up on them. Maybe I need to retest. Sometimes I've had to do that. I just finished a lesson on geometric basic constructions, how to bisect an angle, how to copy a segment, okay? And I just did that. And I went over that in class, and they used their compass, and I walked around, and I worked with them. I had them work with partners. I had them do all of this work. I gave them the quiz on that, and man, you should have seen that stuff. I looked at that, and I said, oh, no. We're going to have to redo this. So I want you guys to take this home, okay, and I need you to work on that, and we're going to redo this next Wednesday. So next Wednesday came, and I said, okay, are you guys ready? And they just kind of sat there, yeah, we're ready, Miss Harris, okay. And I gave them the quiz again, Okay, now I want you to take out your compass, I want you to take out your straight edge, I need you to bisect this angle, and I need you to copy this segment. And you know what? They were better. They were better at it. They were much better. They felt a little more comfortable with it, okay, after that. But during that time, you know, before they took the second quiz, I told them, if anybody needs help, just come in and see me. I'll help you one-on-one. I'll show you exactly how to place your compass and what you need to do. And did they come and see me? No, didn't come and see me. I said, well, that's okay. You don't have to come and see me. We do have tutoring over in the 600 building, and that we have what we call Hour Power. And so it's 1 hour after school, and there's lots of kids, you know, over there. So it's like a big free-for-all, you know, and tutors are in there. Some of the tutors are calculus students, you know, who are tutoring some of the lower level students. Other tutors in there, those are teachers that are in there that are working. I said, oh, I don't care. You can go over there. You want to go over there to Our Power? I don't care where you get help, just get help. Okay? If you don't know how to do it, just go ahead, okay? Now, when you go to Our Power, they're going to give you a little slip. And on this little slip, okay, they're going to put their signature that you came on that day for tutoring, and they're going to initial it. I said, now, if you bring that to me at the end of the quarter, then I'll give you extra credit points because you were at least seeking help, okay? And that's worth some points at the end. And they go, oh, you're going to give us, you give us points, you know? Yeah, I'll give you points. But I need to know that you were working on something, okay, that was over there. Not just over there, socializing, okay. Socializing with your friends, okay. So sustaining the expectation effect, that's the hard part. Having my belief, okay, is one thing, okay, but then how do I keep that thing going, okay? How do I sustain that? Now, it limits the opportunities for growth, okay, if you're not careful, okay, because you want to make sure that you're growing as well as your students, okay, are growing, okay, in there. It can minimize or prevent changes, okay, and then also it can be subtle. The sustaining expectation effects. Teachers act on existing expectations for students rather than changes that have occurred in student performance. So if you just look at their performance that they didn't do well, you know, then that can really limit, okay, your expectation of what they can do. So you just have to always, you know, as they say, keep your eye on the prize and just keep moving towards that goal. And they may be down here, you know, for a long time, but what happens with some students is that they grow in spurts. And so they'll be down here for a long time, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're up here. And so it doesn't matter, okay, how long it takes, as long as they get there, okay. And so we hope that they get there before the school year is out. But some students have to go to summer school, and they may have to retake the course, okay. So that's okay, you know, for some students, if they have to do that. So the sustaining expectation effect, we just have to keep our eye on the prize, okay, for that. Okay, this was a little humorous slide that we put in, okay, in our training, okay? And an old woman was sipping on a glass of wine while sitting on the patio with her husband, and she says, I love you so much, I don't know how I could ever live without you. And her husband said, well, is that you talking or the wine talking? And she said, well, it was me talking to the wine. Okay, so expectations, okay, are everything. So he was hoping, you know, that she was talking about him, but that wasn't her expectation, you know. So expectations are everything. How do teachers form expectations? I mean, how do we do that? See, human behavior is really, really something. It can be very intricate. But teachers form expectations by perceived intellectual ability. That's one way. Because you hear some teachers will say, oh, do you have any Asian students? You know, I hear you have Asian students, you know, in your district. They're all smart. The Asian students are so smart. oh, do you have any Hispanic students? You got Hispanic students, you know, you just, oh, well, the Hispanic students, you know, they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle. Or they'll say, oh, the African American students, oh, wow, you know, they're all in gangs, you know, they're all, I mean, it's that perceived intellectual ability that this group can excel over this group. And a lot of times, you know, I have to tell other teachers as well as people in the community that Asian students are no smarter than other students because they work hard. Their parents will send them to academies in the evening and on Saturdays so that they get extra help. So if they're getting all of this extra help, that's why they're able to do well in class. But are the other ethnic groups, are they doing the same thing? Are the African American parents, are they sending their child to academies after school on Saturdays so that they can get extra help? Are the Hispanic groups, are they doing that? Are they, see, if everyone did the same thing, had the same opportunities, then everyone would be doing well. But a lot of people will think, oh, well, you know, it's the Asians, you know, they're just born that way. It's just genetic. No, they're not. No, they're not. I know some Asian students that don't do very well, okay? I know some East Indian students that don't do very well. They don't perform very well. I know some that are excellent, but I know some African American students that are excellent. I know some Hispanic students that are excellent, that work hard. So it's all about that perceived intellectual ability, okay? And some of the students will think it's not cool to be smart. See, that's that perceived intellectual ability. So I want to be in. I want to be in the in crowd. I want to, you know, hang with these people. So I can't be smart and hang, you know, with those people. Because if they think I'm smart, then they're going to, you know, kick me out, you know, of that group. I got to dress a certain way, and I got to talk a certain way, and I got to walk a certain way. There's that whole thing about perceived intellectual, you know, ability. Socioeconomic status, okay, that's a big factor. And then you've got race and ethnicity. You've got gender. Sometimes they'll think, well, you know, boys, you know, perform better, you know, in geometry than girls. Males are better, you know, doctors than female doctors, you know. Male lawyers are better than female. I mean, all of those kinds of biases, you know, that people have. So it's, a lot of that is how the physical appearance, okay, of how they look. You know, there was this girl, you know, and she was quite heavy, you know, and she wanted to be a cheerleader. You know, but she was very heavy, you know, and they wear those little skirts, you know, in high school, you know, and everything, and then they got to do all those flips, and they got to, you know, do all that dancing and everything. And they thought that, you know, she can't be a cheerleader. And I said, well, why? Why? Does she meet the qualifications to be a cheerleader? Well, yeah. Well, then why can't she be a cheerleader? Well, because she's fat. And I said, well, where does that say in the qualifications that you have to be a certain weight? Does it say that? Is that demonstrated, you know, in here, in the qualifications? They go, well, no. Well, okay. Well, can she perform? Can she do the flips? Can she do the dancing, you know? Maybe she's not the one that they're going to lift up on the shoulders, okay? She's not that one. Maybe she'll be on the bottom of the pyramid, you know, not on the top. And she can be able, you know, to do that. So, you know, talking to the students and then talking to the teachers, you know, then they begin to get away from those, you know, those biases, you know, things. There's all kinds of biases about physical appearance. Because a lot of students will think, well, you know, you're old, Ms. Harris. Yeah, I am. Happy to be here, okay? Lived a long time. But you know what? I know as much about this technology as you know. So you might know how to do all this stuff on the cell phone, okay, and think you're getting over on me, but no, but I know. I know, I stay up on all of that stuff. And then they'll go, well, you know how to do that? You know, and yeah, I know how to do that. I'll do PowerPoint, you know, in class. I do PowerPoints. I do all kinds of projects that are technology projects and activity, oriented. And the students will go, wow, Ms. Harris knows, Ms. Harris knows how to do that. Well, Ms. Harris, I don't have a calculator, but I got my cell phone, and I got an app on my cell phone that has a calculator on there. So can I use that in class? I go, absolutely not. Not on my test. You're not using your cell phone. You're not using your iPhone in my class. So you can take a picture of my test and you can post it up on the internet. No. And they look, oh, she knows? Yeah, I know. I know exactly, what you're doing, okay? So you really have to be aware, okay? You got to be aware and take a look at all of the aspects of how teachers, okay? How teachers are going to form their expectations from there. And then there's also the tracking. We used to have a lot of tracking. I think they're getting back to it, so there is some tracking. But we had tracking in schools, where, especially like in reading groups, you had the Bluebirds and, what they had all these other different groups. And, and the kids knew that if you were in the Bluebirds, you were the dumb ones, okay? Right. If you were in this group, okay, you were the medium ones, and you were in this other group, you were the smart ones. So then they tried to change the names. Okay, but then the kids still knew, so then they did the tracking, in the class.